Okay, this is Dan. I'm the developer of CubeDrop, and I'm just putting together a relatively short gameplay video so you can take a look at what CubeDrop is like as I play through it. So we're just getting started. I've reinstalled the game so that it's starting fresh from scratch with no in-app purchases or level progress or anything like that. So there's the logo. Okay. So we'll ignore what we have in the options and the upgrades in the store for now and just get right to the game. And at first, all you can do is hit start. This is going to run through the tutorial, which just gives you a basic sense of the initial controls for the game. CubeDrop is a 3D game where you are trying to guide some cubes into the middle of the board in order to line up cubes and make matches. It's a little different than other games in the match 3 genre in that you're not moving the cubes themselves, you're moving the what's known as the collector in the middle. And it allows you to move in 3 dimensions, and eventually later on lets you rotate as well. So we'll just go through this tutorial rather quickly. It's telling me that I can tap and drag in any direction to move the collector in 3 dimensions. So let's do that. So this tells me I can move it up and down and back to the right and front left and back left and front right. So you can see that you have 3 dimensions, so you can move in 6 different ways, forward and backwards in the X, Y, and Z coordinates. And now we're being told that if we line up 3 cubes of the same color, they will make a match and disappear. So let's try doing that. Looks like there are a couple of cubes already in the collector for us. And you can see I can only move so far so that I can't actually miss the cube, but I can definitely put it in the wrong place. So that little spark is telling me where it's going to land. And this little red spark that you see tells me that something bad looks like it'll happen if it hits that spot outside of the collector. So I'm going to let it go inside the collector instead. And then it falls into place. And then I will let this go in as well. You'll see at the bottom of the screen there is a drop button, and it shows you what cube is coming up next. So the cool thing about the drop button is you might want to hurry things along a little bit, and if I hit drop, then that cube is just going to slide into place right away. Okay, this is telling us that there are objectives in all of the levels, and that's how you beat each level. So CubeDrop has a bunch of levels, and they all have different objectives, as we'll see. So this is just telling us that the objectives are at the top, and it wants me to tap on this objective to see what I'm supposed to do. And this says just make 3 matches of any color. Okay, that's what we will do. And this is telling us that we can hit that drop button to drop the cube into place right away instead of waiting around for it. So we'll say okay to that. Alright, so at this point I am trying to line up some cubes. We'll see later that we can rotate, but for now we can't. Little thing that Tetris players would probably recognize is the ability to move the collector after the cube is kind of moved beyond an obstacle, which I just did there. We'll drop this one into place and try to put this green one where it belongs. And now we have to get 2 more matches. You can see at the top left that we have made 1 of our 3 matches so far. This blue one goes at the top. And then we need 1 more match. So let's do that. Okay. Next up, it's telling us about gray cubes. So we haven't seen any gray cubes yet, but we will see plenty of those as we go. The gray cubes are an obstacle that we have to clear, otherwise they build up and just get in the way. So you'll see that if you make a match next to a gray cube, it will turn it into a cube of the same color that you used to match next to it. So this is just telling us our new objective is to convert 1 gray cube into a regular cube. So we will do that. And we do that just how we did the other stuff, by putting some cubes into the board, and this should do it. You can can see those all turned into blue cubes because all of the cubes next to it were blue. Okay, so this is telling us we're done with the tutorial. That's the basic gist of the game. It gets a lot more interesting once we can actually rotate in the next couple of levels, but starting off small. And this first group of stages is based around just getting to know the game a bit. So we will jump into level 1 here. And our objective here is just to make 4 matches. So not too much going on in these first couple of levels. It takes a little while to get a hang of the just the moving things around in 3D. You can see I can only move so far again in any direction, and the game kind of gives you a prompt when you're trying to go too far in one direction. Makes a little beep sound. So I can't go any lower than that, and I can't go any higher than that, so that the cube can never actually miss. Moving light around. And we are done here. After you beat a stage, it brings you back to the menu, and you can move on to the next one. Just hitting play there. Okay, this is telling us a little bit about taking damage. We saw that red spark in the last in the tutorial when we were going to drop the cube in. If the cube is going to fall outside of the collector, then you are going to take damage for that, so that has to be avoided. Also, if you take damage, if you fail to do that, then one of the cubes in the collector will turn into a gray cube, just making things a little bit more tricky. And if you take too much damage, it's showing in these boundaries here, then you lose the level and have to try again. Alright, so we have to make 6 matches this time. We'll just jump right in. And this time you can see we actually have 3 colors of, or 3 different types of cubes. So the cubes themselves that are coming in don't have any significance on their own. They're just different styles, and each level just kind of randomizes which cubes we use. Whoops, so I made a mistake there. I wanted to get those 3 reds in a row, but we'll see if we can fix that. And it looks like we're all set there. See a red cube coming up here, finish that match, and we're all set. Okay, level 3. It's telling us about wild cubes. Those are those flashing cubes that can match with any other color. So any cube that you make, that'll line up 2 cubes plus one wild cube of the same color, and it will make a match for you. So in this case we can see that there are 2 cubes there that are wild, and I can put one just below it, and that should make a match with those, which it does. So then our goal in this level is just to make 3 matches, so we will do that. Looks like we have 3 colors again this level. So now I can either make this match, which I will, or I could also put it here and get a wild with that one in the back. But let's put it here, because we already have 3. And I can't quite get that green one in the back there, but if I move quickly after it gets to the back, I can slide this quickly and move it into place for a match. And that's a little bit more helpful before you can actually rotate the collector, which we'll see in a level or 2 here. But we'll do the same thing with this red one. And that's good. Another match with a wild there. And then just put this one over here and see if we can finish this match out. And here we will actually see that we're going to get 2 matches, one along the back wall and one along the right wall, and that should give us a double match. And it does. And we finish that level. Okay, on to level 4. Okay, things are going to get a little more interesting now. It tells you can rotate the collector now with these arrow buttons on the left and the right, and it will make the collector spin 90 degrees in either direction. So that'll help us kind of organize things and put the cubes in the back where we couldn't before. So it's telling me to tap the right arrow. This is just teaching me how to use this. So as you can see, as I tap this right arrow, it is spinning in a counterclockwise motion, and this left arrow spinning the other way. And if you don't like the way it spins, we can jump into the options here and reverse the way that that works, which I prefer personally. And you can see the arrows have shifted around. Alright, so we just have to make 8 matches in this level, so it's getting a little bit more complicated. But now we can rotate, so that means that instead of me not being able to put this where I want, I can rotate this thing around now and actually get these cubes where I want them. So you have a lot more control now over what you can do in the game. So we will just kind of fly through this level and say, now I can put these wherever I want for the most part. And as we can see here, there's actually 4 different colors in this level, or 4 different types of cubes that we have to worry about. As the levels get harder, there are different challenges, one of which is just more colors or more different types of cubes at the same time. Alright, so we should finish that off. Okay, as we said, this level has more colors than the last one, so I'm making these a little bit more complicated. We have to make more matches. We can still rotate, but now we have to deal with just those extra colors and what that does. So by the time you get to this stage, you probably have a hang of the moving the collector in various directions, and now it's just a matter of trying to think in 3 dimensions there with respect to the rotation. So that can take a little bit of getting used to. As you can see, we're actually getting gray cubes coming in now as well as another challenge. So those don't make matches if you line up 3 of those in a row. You have to make a match nearby in order to get rid of those. So I will clear that. And you can see as soon as I clear this, that should turn that gray cube red because I'm making a match with the red cube next to it. So here we go. And it does. This one I think I can fit in the back here. And this one goes here. And they've given us a wild cube. So now, in addition to gray cubes, we're actually getting wild cubes at the same time. So I'll just use this one here, and that should match those 3, and clear that set out. There we go. So I personally like to keep gray cubes kind of in a place where I know that they'll turn more or less at the same time as in a match that I'm about to make. So in this case I knew I was going to make that red one pretty soon, and it turns that into a red. And I know I can clear this blue one with a wild and complete that match. Okay, and that should finish the level. Okay, so this next level introduces a new game mechanic where making matches actually speeds things up a bit. It's telling us every match that we make is going to increase the cubes coming in by 10%, or increase their speed. So it's not that noticeable at first, depending on how used to it you are, but definitely can start adding up depending on how many matches you make here. So this little status icon up in the top left here, you can tap on that. It just reminds us what that icon means. It tells us it's going to change the speed as we make matches. And you'll see when I make this next match, this new icon showed up, this status telling us that the speed of incoming cubes is 10% faster than normal. So we can watch that increase as we make more matches through this level. So we are about to make a match with this brown cube. Now we can see that the speed has gone up to 20% faster. So things are creeping up, and we'll just have to play a little faster than the game itself. Okay. Not too many colors in this stage. It makes it a little simpler. Looks like we have about 4 colors going. And only need 2 more matches. And you can see that some of these I'm just dropping in before the cube actually makes it onto the screen, but that kind of beam that coming out of the cubes shows you what color you're dealing with coming in, giving you a little bit more time to think about it before you can actually see it. Okay. Well, that's a fake ad running on my phone because this is a development phone, so we don't have to see actual ads, but actual players of the game will get an ad every 15-20 minutes that they play, which they can skip if they don't want to see it. Okay, next level just starts us off with a few gray cubes kind of getting in our way. So we will do what we can to clear those out and convert them into regular cubes so that we can make some matches out of them. So definitely a little crowded starting off here, and I can't put this one where I'd like to put it because it'll just go to the back there, so don't really have a good place for that right now. And I still don't have a good place for this one. Now we are getting closer to being able to clear out some of these gray cubes. Okay. So now it looks like we made a couple of rows that we can finish off right after the other here. Okay, so all those gray cubes have been cleared away. We can just play through this like it was any other level. Gray cubes coming in here. We'll just put this up here, knowing that I can now drop this pink cube right here and turn both of those. We didn't even need to, because we beat the level. Okay, looks like we have another level with acceleration coming up here. And looks like things are just a little bit more challenging. This time the cubes will go 15% faster every time a match is made. So kind of like that other level, just a little bit more intense. Looks like we start off with a few cubes already just kind of sitting in the level. So we will just play through this. I'm just going to line these up, figuring I can maybe clear them out later with one big match. And this will actually should give me a double match here, because those are all going to turn red and then clear themselves away. So that's one cool thing you can do with gray cubes. If you can get 3 in a row and then get a match with another 3 next to them, they should all clear at the same time. So you can see now, if I'm not dropping things in place, the cubes are coming in much faster now. Up at the top, it tells us they're coming in 105% faster than usual. So I don't even really have to drop these now to get them to move in at a reasonable speed. I'll leave that wild back there just to be able to clear that red one out eventually, which we should be able to do just in a moment here. Okay, faster and faster. We have a green one coming up, so I'll put this wild here to clear the purple. That didn't even need to. Okay. So So that got up to 150% faster by the time we were done with that level. So it's easy to kind of have things get a little bit out of control there. By the time you get to the end of the level, you hopefully don't have too many cubes cluttering things up, because you've got to make those matches pretty fast. Okay, level 9. And this is just the first group of stages. The next one has a different theme and a different kind of theme visually and with respect to how the levels work. Okay, this is just telling us that there is a new concept at play from now on, which is combos. So we'll see that as we make matches, we'll increase our multiplier, and things will give us more points per match the higher our multiplier is. And just reminding us, hit that drop button to move things in quickly, otherwise maybe we won't get any matches, or maybe our combo multiplier will go down too fast. Okay, so this is telling us a new type of condition. It wants us to make 4 matches while the combo multiplier is 3x or higher. So that just tells us we're going to have to kind of keep things moving along relatively fast here, not let that combo multiplier go down. You'll see that it's going to go down as after I make a match. If I don't make another match soon enough, it'll start going back down. So let's just show what that looks like. You can see at the bottom there, the combo multiplier is 2x now, so I'll get 2 times the points for making matches now, and it's about to run out, so let's make another match. Okay, so now it's up to 3x, which means I have triple points as I'm doing this. But if I'm not fast enough, as we're going to see here, it starts going back down kind of fast. So now it's back down to 2x, and it's gone. So you do have a little bit of time. It doesn't go back down to 0 right away, but you definitely have to keep at it to keep that multiplier up. So let's try to hurry along here, and I don't think I'm going to make it. There we go. So moving along, now we're up to 4, which is the target. We wanted a multiplier of at least 3 here. So you can see we are completing our objectives now because we're making matches while the combo multiplier is at least 3x. We just need to get 1 more while the combo multiplier is higher, or high enough. Hurry up, and we're good. Okay, so this is the last regular level in the first group of stages. And again, these are mostly just giving you a sense of how the game works, some basic challenges, and get you used to moving things around and rotating. And this level's trying to combine some things. It's telling us that the speed will increase by 10% every time a match is made, and the level starts off with some junk already in it that we have to get rid of. So we will clear this one out. So I've had people tell me that Cube Drop kind of reminds them of Tetris in the way that you kind of move things around. I guess that's a reasonable way to put it. Things, as you'll see in the next level, will get a little bit more complicated probably than Tetris, but it has the same kind of appeal where things get a little faster and more hectic as you go. And one of the things I really like about it is the gameplay. Kind of just the controls are pretty smooth in terms of being able to make these matches and move things around and rotate the collector, and just kind of that feel of moving something around in 3 dimensions. So we're getting closer. Speed's definitely getting faster, so we'll have to be a little more careful towards the last few of these matches here. And I don't want to block that yellow one just in case I get a yellow cube coming up here. But you can see we have lots of colors going on in this level, so things are getting pretty crowded as I'm trying to clear them away, but there's so many colors here. Okay. Alright, so we've finished all the levels in that first stage group, and we get a message telling us that there are more difficult versions of those levels that we can try, and also that the endless mode for simple matches, that's that group that we're playing in now, has been unlocked. So that's a couple of things for just kind of things to keep doing in those levels. This is also telling us that from now on we'll get gold cubes when we beat a level. Those first few levels were just kind of getting you used to the game, but from now on you'll get gold cubes. That's the kind of in-game currency in Cube Drop, and that'll let you buy some power-ups and improve your... There's a few items that you can buy in the upgrade store to make you a little bit more powerful in the game, make some things a little bit more lenient as you go into the harder levels. So we'll see that those are going to be rewarded to us at the end of each level from now on, as well as randomly during levels. There's a small chance that you'll get some gold cubes for making matches. Okay, so notice a couple things here. We completed all those levels. There's also this simple matches endless mode. Endless mode is as it sounds, it starts off going kind of slow with a few different cubes, and it just goes on until you can't make any more matches anymore and the collector fills up, or you take too much damage and lose the level. So that is a high score based system. You can earn a lot of gold cubes in there as well. The higher you go, the more likely you are to earn gold cubes when you make matches. But this will just kind of a way to keep playing on this kind of stage group and this type of level. We can also switch over to hard mode here, as we can see, and now all those levels also have a harder version of them where things are moving a little faster, have to make more matches, maybe there's more speed increases on those acceleration levels, that sort of thing. And as you might expect, once you beat level 110 here on hard mode, you unlock ultra hard mode, which is very difficult, and I can barely beat any of those levels. So hopefully there are some people out there who enjoy the challenge, but it definitely gets pretty fast and crazy on ultra. But for now, we also have unlocked the next level or the next group of stages. So we'll just take a quick look at that, just so you can see that things change a little bit, and I'd like you to see the full rotation that we will be able to do in a level or two here. So this next group of stages is called Obstacles, and things are going to look a little different, and we're going to have some different game mechanics introduced. Okay, so visually you can see things look a little bit different. This level looks a little bit more like a jail cell, and it's telling us that there are some blocks that cannot be removed, and they're just obstructions, so we'll just have to work around those. Same kind of concept as before, make 8 matches. So we can see that there is a cube sitting there in the middle that is not a gray cube, because it's not gray, it is black. And there's nothing we can do with that right now. It is just in the way. So not only does it block our vision a little bit, we also can't make matches with that going in the middle. So we will just have to work around it. Okay. So there are 3 in a row gray, and I'll make this match those all, so that's a cool thing, I like that. Wild cube to clear those reds. So we can put this in a couple of different places. Just keep it up here, put this against the back. Okay, definitely getting a little crowded now. I have plenty of colors here, and that black cube in the middle isn't helping anyone. We also only need one more match, and I'm pretty confident that we will be okay here. Okay, so there you can see, first level in the new group, I was awarded 3 gold cubes. I can also, anytime I earn gold cubes in a level, I can watch an ad if I want to earn double the cubes, and for now I'm going to say no thanks to that. And if you don't like getting asked that kind of stuff, you can turn that off. Some people like it, some people don't. Okay. Almost close to wrapping this up. I just want to get us to the full rotation level here. Alright, so this is really where I think Cube Drop starts to become kind of the full game, where you now can rotate in all directions, not just kind of rotating left and right. So, same concept as before, except now you have to think a little bit harder about how you can actually manipulate this collector in 3 dimensions. So still making matches, and still some junk in the way. So I can still rotate the way I was before, and I can still move the way I was before. But you can see I also have these other arrows for rotating in these other directions. So now you have complete control over the way that this collector works. So there are no places you can't get a cube anymore, which is good and bad. If you can keep up with it, then that's great. But it can definitely be a little overwhelming at first to deal with the different levels of rotation here. You also notice that that cube came in from the top, and that is new. Once you have full rotation, the game also expects you to be able to deal with cubes coming in from the top of the screen as well as the sides. So up until now, you wouldn't have been able to put those in the right place. But now that you can rotate in 3 dimensions, or in all axes, then you can do pretty much anything. Okay. So things get a little bit harder from here on, and you have more control, but the game also expects a little more from you. But it also means that you can put things almost anywhere you want. See, this one's a wild cube match. I can make that in the back. And this one I'm going to have kind of grow up through the center. And I can make a match with this one. And one critical thing about Cube Drop is being able to think about where things are when you don't see them. So I know behind here, I can't really do anything with that cube right now. Just get out of the way, but there's a lot of kind of remembering what the back of the collector looks like now that you can rotate in all those directions and trying to remember how you had things lined up. Okay. So I think that'll do it for this first video on some Cube Drop gameplay. There are, at this point, 5 different groups of stages. We are on the second one in this video, and on all of these stages you can unlock harder difficulties, and you can play the endless mode. And in endless mode for each of the 5 stages, the endless mode runs a little bit differently, so it kind of has the same theme and concepts as the other levels in that group. But thanks for watching, and you can look for some future videos. I'll keep playing through this obstacles stage group in another video, and you can look for that. But go out there and try out Cube Drop. It's on the App Store for iOS and on the Play Store for Android. Okay, I am Dan, I'm the developer, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.